Well, I believe that glyphosate causes cancer.
Andy, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I just got done watching the Olympics. That girl from Oakland won the gold. It's a good night.
Oklahoma's on fire right now.
Dude, it's so weird. So there's been fire warnings all week long. And yesterday I was working and I always have the news on muted to my left. And I looked over at one point and Wolf Blitzer was talking about like these massive wildfires in the state of Oklahoma. And I was
Yeah.
like, do I need to go look out the window? They're all to the west of me. They're all over like on the Oklahoma City side. But yeah, even our buddy Clint was flying back to Colorado on Tuesday. And he flew over several of the fires. He said the smoke was ridiculous. Like they were all looking at it out the window of the plane. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think so. We just had a cold front blow in, and now the wind's blowing out of the north, and I think the fire danger is over after today. I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that'll do it. Yeah, I saw it on the news the other day and I was just like, oh. Then I went on ArcGIS and I was like, where are these fires at? And it's like kind of to
yeah,
the northwest of you, north
there
and
was a
northwest.
big there was a big one tonight straight north of me, but the way the winds were blowing, I was still good. So,
Okay.
yeah, very exciting. So,
Good.
anyhow,
Good.
I have another exciting thing for you real quick. I got to get this out. There's a lot of fun stuff for tonight, but I had to get this one out of the way early. Remember last episode where Brian Tyler Cohen, had asked Obama about the aliens, and Obama immediately answered like, "Well, there's definitely aliens, but we don't
Yeah.
have them." And then that turned into a whole thing. Well, Trump was flying on Air Force One today, and he got asked about Obama's comments. You got to check this out real quick.
No.
Something that got a lot of attention this week. Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
So aliens are real.
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
What was
He
it
made
classified?
he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
The president can declassify anything that he wants to.
Well,
So if
maybe
you
I'll
want
get
to
him
make
out
an
of trouble.
announcement,
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
we know illegal aliens are real.
Yeah, illegal. Only illegals. What else?
I think I might have been right.
So, so the way Trump played that there of like, oh, he shouldn't have said that. That was classified. Like, I kind of thought he was screwing around. Plus, here's the deal. In 2020, we released the UFO files. Okay, remember that was a big deal. And then in 2021 and 2023, we released more stuff. And there were even jokes like I think Joe Rogan at one point was like, "Hey, the government just admitted there's aliens, and nobody's acting like it's a big deal. Like we've released all the files 3 times in the last 6 years. Like we've done that.
Sure.
So what else does the government have that they're not showing us? I don't know.
It's kind of like the Epstein files. They just don't want to,
They're not going to give
show
it to us
everything.
all at once. But Trump then about 2 hours after that, because Fox News and everybody was going nuts about, oh my God, did Trump just confirm that Obama was right that there's aliens?
I think so.
So Trump tweeted out, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP, and unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America.
So we're never going to see anything.
So, but here's the thing: like, I think that he realized after he said that today, Fox News talked, but nothing but aliens for like 2 straight hours, and he probably was like, "Oh, this is a great subject change. Like, let's give them aliens." I don't know what, like, unless let's say there is a strong chance that the government didn't really release all the UFO files. They gave us enough, but here's the thing: like, I went back. We talked about it last time. When Trump was on Rogan, Rogan asked him about UFOs, and I remember that his answer was not convincing. So I went back and actually watched just that question and answer. And he was like, "Oh, Joe, let me tell you some of the things I've seen." But then he went on to describe the Tic Tac videos and all. And even Joe was like, "Yeah, that's what we've seen. Like, what else?" And he was like, "Oh, I mean, those things right there." So I don't, I don't really think there's anything beyond that, but I could be wrong. But anyhow,
You're probably right. I mean, all across the world, no government leader has ever seen, has ever shown any evidence, real
no.
evidence. Nobody's ever shown any real evidence.
So we like to think that like the government's a lot smarter than us. Like, oh, they probably know all this stuff. Like in reality, I think that like they're all like, holy shit, what is this? Like they have no clue. I think that they're just as perplexed by this UAP phenomenon as all of us. They're probably looking for answers.
It's like Bigfoot. I mean, I really want aliens to be real. I want them to come down and save us right now. I want them take me to your leader, and then we take them to Donald Trump, and they're like, "Oh, this has to go."
So here's the thing. I don't think that we're in danger of being visited by aliens from another planet anytime soon, anytime in the next couple hundred years. I don't see it happening. But if it did happen, I think it's really highly likely that they would be here to kill us and take our planet. Like, I don't see any scenario where they would come in peace and like want to save us from ourselves, like from whatever, however we're destroying the Earth. Like, no, it'd be a scenario where they're searching for a planet so they can get all the resources and
I think it could go either way. I think it would either go that they're super peaceful and they're like trying to they're like, hey, you guys are, are that million light years away neighbors. Like, hey, here's a pie or whatever. Here's some cool technology. Or it could go the complete opposite and they're like, yeah, we're gonna steal all your shit. You're done.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think the movie Independence Day is probably most likely what our thing would be like. So, anyhow,
Or it's giant like robot bugs that would just stomp us. They don't even
Yeah.
care about the resources. They just want to stomp things.
so either Independence Day or Starship Troopers, one of those two movies is probably
What if it's like a whole nother like dimension of people and it's all just Trumps? Just
oh god.
big bodied Trumps walking through the street, marching around, bossing people around, stealing your wallet.
See, that can't happen because you can't have more than one Trump in a group. Like a Trump is a very specific type of personality, and like two of them can't be in a group together because they would butt heads constantly. So you can
Oh,
only
they
have
would just
one
kill
Trump
each
per
other.
group. Yeah, I firmly
Yeah.
believe that. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
they would all destroy each other until there'd only be one Trump left. So, anyhow, before we get to the alarming news of the day, I do want to tell you that Trisha McLaughlin, she is the lady that is Kristi Noem's like press secretary or I don't know, deputy. I don't know what her position is, but
Mhm.
she's always the one where like when the Alex Pretty shooting happened or Renee Good, she like immediately comes out on Twitter and like flat out lies about what happened. Like I've read several of her tweets on the air. She's resigning. She resigned on Tuesday. She's going away.
Okay.
This is a tremendous victory for all Americans everywhere. I'm sure whoever takes her place will be bad, but Trisha McLaughlin was like especially bad. So there's reason to celebrate today.
So he hasn't fired anybody of significance yet. He's firing their underlings at this point.
Yes, and the first to go should truly be Howard Lutnick at this point, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Also, we're not going to cover any Epstein stuff. I don't have any Epstein. You might. I have no Epstein stuff tonight. A lot's happened. They interviewed Leslie Wexner today, I believe. The footage from that's coming out. In England, they arrested the former Prince Andrew. Now
Yes.
just Andrew. They arrested him. We talked about it last time. At France is doing raids on Epstein-linked properties. Like. There's a lot happening with that, but we're missing other stuff. So let's take a little bit of a night off of Epstein, and then we'll come back to Epstein here in a couple days. But right now there is a lot with Epstein happening.
It's a lot. Nothing really here. We're the thing is we're the only country that's not arresting
Oh,
anybody.
in a lot of other countries, things are going down because of the file release.
Yeah.
And here we're just like, man, whatever.
We're the
Even
only country that's not doing shit.
the most alarming part of Leslie Wexner's interview today, and they're putting out all the clips right now. But they asked him, "Hey, has anybody from the police department, Department of Justice, FBI, has anybody from law enforcement ever come to you to ask you questions about your association with Epstein?" And he's like, "No, never." His name's been connected to Epstein for like 7 or 8 years at this point. Like the fact that law enforcement's never even had an interview with him just means it's a cover up. Like at the highest levels. They have not wanted to get to the truth of this.
I mean,
So-
QAnon was right. There is a giant cabal of pedophiles.
They were
They were
half
just wrong
right.
about which side it was on.
Well, they were right about there being the elites and doing. Now, I still all the stuff about them like drinking the adrenochrome and all that. We haven't gotten to that point yet. They took it really far. But also the main point of the QAnon theory was that Donald Trump was here to save the children and he was finally going to bring down the cabal. When in reality, if there is a cabal, he's protecting it. So that to me that was the main point. Like if you looked at what QAnon thought, it's like, oh yeah, well, I'm sure that the rich people are doing some crazy bad stuff. Like everybody agrees on that. But the part about Donald Trump being the hero that's going to save the day and bring down the cabal, that's the part that was really unbelievable. And it appears that that was not true. So if anything, he's helping them. That being said, okay, the worst news of the day. Sorry, you got anything else on
All right,
Epstein?
before the worst news of the days, let me give you a little good news here,
Okay.
or interesting news. Did you see your boy James Tallarico on anything lately?
You know, I didn't see it on broadcast TV. I had to watch it on YouTube. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's a whole thing into itself. We could spend a while talking about that, but it ended up being a benefit from him. For him, he got way more people saw it the way it went down than they would have seen it had it been just broadcast on the show. So
Yeah. That was interesting though, but apparently he wasn't even supposed to like do that interview, but he did it anyway and put it out there.
So they had booked him for the show,
Uh-huh.
and then the lawyers got involved. Now here's where people are conflating things. Jasmine Crockett, who he's running against in the primary, she came out on like a press conference. She's like, I have reason to believe that it was not the government that shut down the interview, and it wasn't. The government never said anything about it. What Stephen Colbert said was that the lawyers came to him from CBS and said, "Hey, you shouldn't do. If you're going to do this, you have to have all the candidates on. You can't just have one."
Oh.
There was a rule a long time ago called the equal time rule, and it still applies to like news organizations, but then they did a carve out 30, 40 years ago for like late night talk show hosts, things that aren't directly news, basically. Brendan Carr 6 months ago said, and he just said, I'm thinking about doing away with that carve out. He never actually did it, but he said he's thinking about it. Tallarico went on The View like 3 weeks ago, and now the FCC is like investigating The View for having him on, but not the other ones. So even though he didn't officially do it, it seems like he did because that's what he's in. Anyhow, the CBS lawyers, and I don't blame them, said, "Hey, this is going to get the FCC crawling up our ass if you do this. Like either you got to have all of them on or none at all." In response, he did not air it on broadcast TV, but he aired it on YouTube, which is totally fine because the FCC does not regulate YouTube at all. Now,
Well, he should do all of them on YouTube TV. I mean,
what? Here's the thing: he's already had Jasmine Crockett on his show 2 or 3 times. He's never had Tallarico on. Now, he hasn't had her on recently, and we are coming up to a primary, so I get that side of things. But the rules for the past 40 years have been late night hosts can have whoever they want. Like if we're going to start applying this, come the presidential election, like when the primaries are happening and there's 20 Democrats running and 10 Republicans, that means any late night show has to have on all 30 or 40 of them or none at all. Like
right.
that's not practical at all.
No, not
That's all I'm
practical
saying.
at all.
Yeah.
Are you still do you still think James Tallarico is the best candidate to run against the Republican
Yeah. Oh, I think
in
that
that district?
if it's Ken Paxton, which is the Republican, looks like it's going to be Ken Paxton. He's corrupt as hell. He's been the Attorney General of Texas for the past, I think, 12 years, something like that. If it's him, I think Tallarico's got a shot. I don't think, and I think it's going to. Here's the thing. I don't think Tallarico can win, really, but I think he can get really close, and maybe if there's a miracle, he could win. But realistically, we trick ourselves every couple of years. Beto O'Rourke, he's going to win, and he came within 2 points or something like that. I mean, I don't know. But
Well, this kind of sucks though. Like it seems like why are we picking this battle with two of our top? Like James Tallarico is a superstar. Jasmine Crockett's a superstar. Why are we putting two of our superstars up against a fight we can't really win? Because they're out of politics. At that point, they're out of politics.
So let me explain it to you, though. So Colin Allred ran against Ted Cruz in the last election. He lost by like 4 or 5 points. It wasn't really that close. It looked like he was going to be the one to challenge the Republicans this time, and a lot of people thought, hey, Tallarico can beat him. So everybody thought it was going to be a head-on match of Tallarico versus Colin Allred, and Tallarico would probably win. When the Texas gerrymander happened, remember where they redrew their condition? So they eliminated Jasmine Crockett's House seat. Like her district is pretty much gone now, and she has no way to get reelected in that House seat. So they put her out of a job basically. So because of that, she looked around and said, "All right, I guess I'm going to run for Senate now." Tallarico has kind of said he didn't think when he started this, he didn't think he was going up against Jasmine Crockett. He thought this was him and Colin Allred, and he thought he could beat Colin Allred, and now he's up against Jasmine Crockett. So circumstances led to it. Nobody planned for this. This is just where we ended up.
Okay.
So,
Well, I
but
like both of them, and I don't want to see them like disappear into in our shitty political system at this
I'll,
point.
I'll tell you this. The Republicans are way more afraid of Tallarico than they are of Crockett due to their own internal polling. Like if the Republicans realize that if it's Paxton versus Tallarico, they could very well lose. They want it to be Crockett, and they're doing some sneaky stuff to try to prop up Crockett right now in the primary because they
Hmm.
would much rather run against her than Tallarico.
Yeah.
She's winning against Tallarico head to head as far as for the primary, but in the general election, in my mind, he would be a stronger candidate.
I
So.
really liked her in the House. I think she was a very strong voice against the super nasty MAGA right.
I think if she was in a lot of other states, she could easily win a Senate seat. In Texas, I don't know that. So I'm not saying this in a derogatory way, but she's like a loud, confrontational, proud black woman. Like she's
Sure.
not afraid to stand up for herself. Awesome. I don't think Texas is the right state for that. Like there's a lot of other ones that I think she would do great in. I feel like Texas isn't there yet. That's all I'm saying.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think that, and I probably am wrong on this, but I think that there are some center right people that might look at Ken Paxton and say, "Oh, he's under investigation for all these things. He's corrupt." Tallarico's a white boy who's religious, and like I could see them making the choice to swing left and vote for him, whereas I can't see any of them swinging left to vote for Crockett. So for Crockett, her only path to victory is to like do a heavy base play, kind of like Trump does in the election. Like you're not going for the centrist. You're trying to really energize your base and get all these people to show up and vote who don't normally vote. That's what Crockett would have to do.
Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. I
Yeah.
really liked her in the House. I think she was just a great House member.
I don't like or
But,
dislike her, honestly. I have very little opinion of her just in general. But like I said, I think she could win in a lot of states. I don't think Texas is the one. So
hmm.
that's where I'm at. Anyhow, on to the big breaking news. MAHA, yay! So I saw a headline the other day. Headline says, this is the New York Times, I believe. Yeah, New York Times. Trump order aims to boost weed killer targeted in health lawsuits. An executive order aimed at ramping up production of glyphosate set off alarms among supporters of Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Okay, I was like, hold on, wait. Trump is doing what now? He's giving executive order to ramp up production of glyphosate. I don't really know. I don't know much about that.
So, glyphosate.
Okay.
Glyphosate is the active ingredient in Roundup. And I wish I remember what this video was, but I pulled a video on this that you should watch.
And next, President Trump has signed an executive order. He's declaring domestic production of glyphosate critical to national and food security. Now, this is the herbicide widely used in agriculture, and it's a key ingredient in Roundup. The chemical is described in the order as essential to maintaining crop yields and controlling costs. The decision comes despite criticism from the Make America Healthy Again movement, and they've raised concerns about glyphosate's potential health risks. Thousands of lawsuits nationwide allege the chemical causes cancer. Bayer, which produces Roundup, through its Monsanto subsidiary, denies those claims.
Okay, so that makes sense because in my little bit of research I did on glyphosate, it looks like RFK actually won a $218 million jury verdict, not a settlement. He won a jury trial, and his main plea was that he was contending that the company knew that the weed killer caused cancer, and he won that lawsuit, $218 million.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's been talking about Roundup for years. It
So-
is
Well, and that was 2018. Okay.
yeah.
Maybe he's changed his tune since then. Who knows? Maybe he has. Okay. Well, let's check it out. This is when he was running for president. He hadn't dropped out and joined Trump yet, but he was running for president. MAHA was taken off, and he said, the herbicide glyphosate is one of the likely culprits in America's chronic disease epidemic. Much more widely used here than in Europe. Shockingly, much of our exposure comes from its use as a desiccant on wheat.
Desiccant.
Not as a herbicide. From there, it goes straight into our bodies. My USDA will ban that practice. Okay, so he didn't say cancer there. He said it causes chronic disease, but not cancer. So he seems to be backing off there, right?
Yeah, here, I've got a video for you. I think this is from 2018 when he was really going against it.
What glyphosate, and by the way, what Van Damme said about we shouldn't be talking about glyphosate, we should be talking about Roundup. And if you read all of these documents that we've gotten from Monsanto and see all the sneaky stuff that they do, one of the most fearful things for them is that somebody is going to do testing on Roundup. Because even in their most private emails to each other, they're talking about nobody's ever tested this, and we know that the formulation is much, much more toxic than the glyphosate. Because the formulation has all these surfactants in it and adjuvants in it that are intended to allow the glyphosate to slip through the bark of the plant and through the coating of the plant, and they allow also those same chemicals also enable that molecule to penetrate the blood-brain barrier and get into the human system, and they're toxic themselves. And the synergistic toxicity is something they've been able to keep the regulatory agencies from ever looking at that. The only thing they ever test is pure glyphosate. Nobody ever gets to test Roundup.
So that's from right around the time he got the lawsuit. Also, he talks about the blood-brain barrier a lot. I remember a couple of years ago he was on Rogan. He was talking about Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi penetrates the blood-brain barrier, and then I saw a million people come on after that and say that it doesn't. I don't know, maybe it does. I'm not a scientist, but when he starts talking, a lot of times he'll say a keyword that reminds me, like, oh yeah, he also said, and it'll be something that. So I don't know that I trust him on a lot, but I'll say everything we've showed right there was from 2018 and then a tweet from 2024. Maybe since he got in office, he hasn't really said much about it. Maybe. But check out this video real quick.
Well, I believe that that glyphosate causes cancer.
So that was from a month ago. That was on Katie Miller's podcast, which just started a few months ago, but that was in January of 2026. Okay. So I'll say this. I saw MAHA was not happy about this. There were a lot of people on Twitter that were really upset with Trump. And before we go any further, can we talk about what the executive order actually says and does?
Sure.
Wait, you got anything else?
I do have one thing from 2015.
Okay, what do you got?
In 2015, the International Agency for Research on Cancer classified it as probably carcinogenic. So in 2015, this is like when the UK and I think all of Europe banned glyphosates. So, but the US never did. And also Roundup, there was and I don't know if it was RFK's hearing or what, but it was Roundup ended up paying out billions of dollars to people for cancer.
All I found was the 218 million to RFK's. It was like his company. I don't want to say company, but his group that fights all this stuff. They might have paid out other lawsuits. I don't know.
Roundup pays. Let's see. As of February 2026, Bayer has proposed a $7.25 billion settlement to resolve thousands of Roundup cancer lawsuits.
Dang. Okay, so
$7.25 billion.
So apparently that's what stemmed all this. Is Bayer is who makes glyphosate, and they've hit a point where they're about to stop making it because they're going to go out of business from the lawsuits if they keep making it. Now, I found a video of RFK on Theo Vaughn a couple months ago, and he was basically explaining that he does think that glyphosate's bad for us, but ranchers depend on it, and if Bayer quits making it, then all these ranchers will go out of business or something along those lines.
We'll have to figure something out, figure out a different thing.
It seems like we could figure something out. And also he was saying there that Roundup has never been tested. I don't get how that's possible. How can you be selling a product that's chemicals that might be causing cancer, and yet we're not allowed to test it to see if it is harmful? Like,
this is the problem. If a company is paying out $7.25 billion in lawsuits because a chemical that they are putting in their products is giving people cancer, then the US government should probably ban that product.
Or at least test it. Let's just start with test it.
No,
It's
just
easy.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's
Let's
test
just start there. Test it. Like
ban it. Just ban it. Jesus.
RFK said that they've successfully stopped it from ever being tested. Is I think what he said in that first video of yours. Like
Yeah.
that's ridiculous to me.
Right.
That any company producing chemicals that are bought and sold at the store, you should be able, the government should be required to test that. I know that's a regulation, but we should definitely do
Well,
that.
on another on another topic, RFK is actually pushing for our food sources to be tested from a independent agency as opposed because right now all of our food is being tested in-house basically. So
Okay.
like if you're Nabisco or whatever, you can test your stuff in-house and you put all your nutrition labels and stuff on it. But
So I'm
right now he's pushing for that, which I don't know how this comes into play.
it'd probably be just food from the way you described it. I don't know. It should be everything. It should be everything needs to be.
But what if the food has glyphosates in it?
Well, I mean, they'd catch it because they'd be testing the food.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyhow,
So
here. Go ahead.
go ahead. No,
Are
I
you-
was, yeah. I think you're going to go to what I was going to say.
Okay, well, no, I'm going to read this executive order real quick because this
Yes.
is
That's
very
awesome.
important. So the executive order is titled "Promoting the National Defense by Ensuring an Adequate Supply of Elemental Phosphorus and Glyphosate-Based Herbicides." Executive Order, February 18th, 2026. First part here. Sorry, this is Section 3, Immunity. This order confers all immunity provided in Section 707 of Act, blah, blah, blah. Additionally, domestic producers of elemental phosphorus and glyphosate-based herbicides are required to comply with this order in accordance with provision, blah, 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 blah. Okay, got that. And then here's the key part. There is no direct one-for-one chemical alternative to glyphosate-based herbicides. The lack of access to glyphosate-based herbicides would critically jeopardize agricultural productivity, adding pressure to the domestic food system, and may result in a transition of cropland to other uses due to low productivity. Given the profit margins growers currently face, any major restrictions in access to glyphosate-based herbicides would result in economic losses for growers and make it untenable for them to meet growing food and feed demands. So,
We'll stop putting tariffs on soybeans.
hold on. So, here's the key part. No person shall be held liable for damages or penalties for any act or failure to act resulting directly or indirectly from compliance with a rule, regulation, or order issued pursuant to this chapter, notwithstanding that any such rule, regulation, or order shall thereby be declared by judicial or other competent authority to be invalid. This is a lot of legalese talk, but this means they are immune from lawsuits. So they can make as much glyphosate as they want, and nobody can sue them now because he has basically ordered it made under the Defense Production Act.
Yeah. Is he buddies with the Monsanto guy?
He probably got a big check from him. But the third part there is no direct one-for-one chemical alternative to glyphosate-based herbicides. I think that's because nobody's tried. Like, we're so good at science these days. You're telling me we can't come up with some kind of an organic thing that does the same thing, kills the weeds or whatever. I don't know. I'm guessing that's what it does. That's not harmful. Are they trying? Are they putting any money into this?
It's a
Like
it's a pesticide.
like all the money they took out of USAID, can we put some of that towards finding a safe pesticide for our crops?
Oh wait, is it a weed killer or a pesticide? Roundup's a weed
Roundup's
killer.
a weed killer.
Well, so they found out that I feel like it started as a pesticide. This is from what I was looking at earlier. Because they found out they created this product, glyphosate, and they sprayed it on the crops and it killed all the crops.
Okay.
And then they were like, oh, this would be a good pesticide. So then they dialed it down. So I think they put it in some pesticides, but in like a really small amount. But then when you want to kill weeds, you use it in a large amount, which is why Roundup causes so much cancer. And also actually, I got another video for you.
One of the things that I've learned during 33 years as an environmental advocate is that whenever you see large-scale environmental injury, you'll also see the subversion of democracy, capture of the public agencies that are supposed to protect Americans from pollution. You'll see the corruption of public officials. You'll see the compromise of the press and the other institutions that democracy puts in the way of corporate control. Those institutions are swept aside. And, you know, from when I was a little boy, I was training hawks, and I had a falconry license.
Of course, he was training falcons as a young boy, like every young boy does. Also, I take offense to one thing there. Everybody always, oh, the press is part of the cover up here. Like I've seen several times on a lot of different news things that about Roundup and its links to cancer. So like in this case, I don't know why the press is getting blamed for it. The government, the EPA, the FDA, whatever government agency that's supposed to be protecting us has dropped the ball. Not just Republicans, through all the administrations. Obama was president for 8 years. I don't remember anything getting done about this. So, the government is, and they're captured by a lobby. This is real. This isn't like a mystery. Like this industry lobbies our politicians and makes sure that they don't ever vote to put regulations that would be burdensome.
Well, Obama was out in 2015.
Well, I'm just saying though, but I'm sure
Obama was out in 2012. So in 2015 is when the International Agency for Research on Cancer claimed it as probably carcinogenic.
In your mind, when was Obama president? Like what year to what year?
Wasn't he out? Oh no, 2016.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
sure.
right.
Yeah.
I was wrong. Okay. Yeah. So 2016. So he had a year to get on that, and Biden had 4 years. He didn't do anything about it. But also the media, if the media really like pushed on this, the media actually produces change within, like we've seen it.
Like I said, I've seen on the news about potential links to like Roundup. I've seen Roundup on the news many times over the past 5 years having to do with
But
this.
this is a big story, and it's been a big story for a long time that nobody's put enough effort into. Because our food sources, we all eat food. Every single one of us eats the food. If you're ultra wealthy, sure, you buy organic and you go to Whole Foods and you get the best stuff without any of these chemicals in it. But if you're anybody else, you're going to King Soopers or Walmart or wherever, and you're buying your groceries and you're ingesting toxic chemicals from the food that you eat.
So
that's kind of fucked up in my
It is. But I'll say this. I agree with you that the media does have the power to make change. Like I agree with you on that, but I don't think that's the way it should be. I think the media should be reporting on the change that's being made and not the ones driving the story. It happens a lot that goes that way, but it shouldn't be. Like we should be crawling up our representatives' butts until they do something about it. Like that's how it's supposed to work. And then the media is supposed to report on the fact that the citizens are up in arms and now the congressmen are taking action. So turning to like why isn't the media doing anything about this?
Right.
It's not their fucking job. Like it's the job of us to get vocal and make our representatives do what's right for us.
Right, but the media should be putting more emphasis on this as opposed to this rich, famous woman's mother who got abducted.
Okay, I agree there. I mean,
Right.
there's a lot of things.
Like they could pull one segment out and start talking about this
So
more.
I'll say this: MSNBC, CNN, all the normal nightly news is NBC, CBS, all that. Like they're devoting one segment a night to
1
Nancy
minute.
Guthrie.
One
One segment, 8 minutes we'll call it, to
Okay.
Nancy Guthrie, and then they're going about the rest of it. Fox is still covering Nancy Guthrie 90% of the time. Like that's now that aliens are on the horizon, they're gonna move over to that, but they're doing anything they can to not talk about a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, and it's very clickbaity because there's a lot of like murder mystery
Mhm.
women out there who just watch murder mystery podcasts.
That's the
and
thing.
shit.
Who watches the news, especially during the daytime?
Oh, old people.
Old people. Who loves watching like all those, they call it like informative murder porn, but like on
Old women.
on all those channels like A&E and stuff, but it's always like murder mystery, like, but it's all reenacted.
Middle-aged to older women
My,
watch.
my mom and stepdad watch that shit. It's like hour-long retelling of a crime
Yeah.
and who done it. Yeah, so
Dude, my mom watches like she has podcasts that she watches, and there's like a lawyer who sits there and and talks about the trial during these things. So they go through the whole thing and then they talk about the trial of the thing. And it's like it's ongoing. So as long as that trial's going on, they're talking about this one trial or that trial or whatever. It's kind of Wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. I saw a thing on that a while ago where like women are loving these murder podcasts. Like they are all about
Yeah.
it, which scares me as a man. Like,
Well,
why are they?
South
Yeah,
Park did that thing, murder porn. They called it
there's
murder porn.
informative murder porn. Yeah. So our show's going to get knocked down in the algorithm just for the use of the P word there. Um, yeah. Anyhow, um, moving on real quick. Anthropic. Can I say real quick? And we're done with.
Before
Yeah.
you move on, I have one more video I want to show you from that same interview, and
Okay.
it's about Monsanto.
Says that the people of the state of New York own the fish in the Hudson River. And we own the water in the Hudson River. It's called the public trust doctrine. This is a 2,000-year-old law. It goes back to the Code of Justinian. It's in the Magna Carta, but it's in the Constitution of every state that the people of the state own the fish in that state and the wandering animals. Today, legally, we own the fish, but we don't own them anymore. Monsanto now owns every fish in the Hudson River. It privatized a public resource. It turned them into profit for itself, and it took them away from us, so we can't use them anymore. And that's an act of theft.
I got a lot of questions there. Is he kind of, I don't know what the right word would be. Not an analogy, but like Monsanto doesn't really own the fish. Like you can still go fishing in the Hudson, and if you catch it, it's yours, right? It's not like they own. I think he's saying because of the chemicals that have flown into the water, and now the fish are genetically. I think he's saying something like that. I don't think that Monsanto owns the fish.
Right. That
Yeah.
or they're buying up the land around the water to where they own the
Possibly.
fish.
He says a lot of things like that sometimes, and it's like, oh my God, Monsanto bought or owns all the fish. And then you look into it, and it's like, oh, well, what he's saying there is, and then you see what he's really meaning, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. But they don't own the fish. And he's kind of got a little bit of Trump in him where he says some shit like that sometimes where it's like, huh?
Sure.
Anyhow.
Sure. He's a crazy guy. He's a
Dude,
crazy guy.
Speaking of him, I didn't pull this video. If you want, we can try to pull this up real quick.
I know exactly what you're about to say.
The one of him and Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Do you have that by chance?
No, I didn't
Okay.
pull it. I thought you were gonna pull it. I was like,
Well, so if we were gonna play it, we'd have to play it without the music. But it's him and Kid Rock at a luxury spa. Of course, Bobby Kennedy is wearing jeans and no shirt because that's what he does when he works
gets in
out.
the cold plunge in his jeans.
There's a meme of him getting into the He used to watch Arrested Development, right?
Yeah.
Remember how Dr. Tobias Funke was never nude?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a meme of both of them standing in the cold plunge, and he's got his jeans on, and Funke's beside him with the
He's a
jean
never
shorts.
nude.
But I think that's it. RFK Juniors are never nude. But yeah, that was the weirdest video, and like RFK is ripped. Even I showed my wife that video, and she was like, "Wow, RFK!" Like I get it now. I've always said like, how do all these women think he's attractive? But when I showed my wife him getting in the cold plunge in his jeans, the only thing she had to say was like, "Oh wow, he's built," and I was like.
He's on TRT. Like,
my wife was almost like licking her lips at the sight of RFK wearing jeans and no shirt, which was weird to me. But
dude, yeah, I'm as soon as my T goes downhill, I'm getting on TRT.
Dude, Kid Rock does not have an impressive physique. Like,
No.
like I don't know why they picked him to be in the video, but like Kid Rock's like pumping away on a bike. And anyhow, it was a funny video.
What makes me mad about that video is our tax dollars probably paid for that video.
100%. Yeah.
You and I paid for that fucking video with our tax dollars.
The White House released that video. Like
we were just spewing money on nonsense at this point.
Yes.
And do you think they paid Kid Rock to be in that video? They probably gave him $1 million or something to be in that video.
I don't know.
And
I'd like to think that they didn't pay him, but here's what I think. They didn't pay him, but there's some production company that like they're laundering money to almost. So they probably paid way too much money to produce that video for them.
Yeah.
That's what all the different videos that they're making out of DHS, all the ICE videos and like Christy Noam doing her commercials. Those are all being made by a company that is owned by Trisha McLaughlin, who we just mentioned, who just left. Her husband owns a production company, and they did a $250 million no-bid contract with his company to make all their DHS videos. So that's like straight up corruption right there. But of all the other corruption going on, we're not even really talking about that one. We've known about
$250 million for
1
year?
Yeah, I believe it was 250 for 1 year for making content for them, basically making
How
commercial.
much? I would like to know how much content they made.
I don't know.
I want to see these. I want to see these videos, and I want to see the production of these videos because that is a lot of money for videos. Oh my goodness gracious. This is insane.
Hold
We're
on, I
living in
want
insane times, Andy.
220 million. Sorry, 220 million. I wanted to make sure I
Okay.
got the number right. No,
Okay.
that's not that bad at all. That's only 220 million. I thought it was 250, like a crazy person.
I know a lot of video guys
Mhm.
that don't make $220 million.
What? Especially that it was a no bid contract. Like that's just flat out like, oh, we just want to get to your deputy's husband's company. Like,
You could
yeah,
at least pretend that there was a bid
mm,
involved. At
okay,
least pretend, but they're
okay, yeah,
not. It's blatant corruption
yeah.
coming out of this
So
government.
so she's leaving her post, but also her husband is now super rich because of DHS. So they're fine. They're going to be just fine.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw a couple of those videos. I mean, what was that one with Christy Nome just standing there? It's the one that's in front of like the at the airports.
Oh, you mean there's the one where she's standing in front of the cells at the CCOT, the place in
Okay.
El Salvador. There's one where she's like riding a horse and wearing a cowboy hat in the mountains, talking
Oh
about
yeah.
protecting our homeland. They're not great videos at all, but they paid a lot of
These
money
are
for them.
max crew members.
Yeah, it's easily. So
Max.
yeah, corruption. Anyhow,
Blatant corruption.
speaking of money and politics, I got two things for you real quick before we get to Trump. Anthropic. We talked about Anthropic last time. They appear to be the only AI company that I would support right now. A lot of different things they're doing and saying I'm down with, but
Hmm.
they have pledged today that they're going to put 20 million into a super PAC. They're basically starting their own super PAC, and their super PAC will only support candidates that support AI regulation.
Oh,
Every other AI company is backing candidates that are going to make sure that there is no regulation on AI, and Anthropic is the one company trying to find candidates that want to regulate AI because they're worried about it not being regulated.
I have two AI stories right now.
All right, let's hear it.
Um, so yes, I've been trying to use Claude, and I asked it something, and it just went into freeze mode.
Okay.
And I tried it multiple times. That's one of my stories, which was weird. I thought maybe did they put a halt on it or what's going
Was
on?
it something like controversial you asked it, like religion or
No,
something?
no, no. It was like write me, here, rewrite this email or something like that.
Okay.
Um, that was one of my stories. But also, since I switched to a new computer, I had to download it's called Portrait Pro, and it's a photography thing. And like I take a portrait of somebody and I put it in there, and it like edits their face. It like
Okay.
takes away the pores and the any blemishes, and it kind of smooths everything out and sharpens eyes, and it does a lot of really cool stuff. But it's owned by Anthropic. I didn't realize that.
Okay.
It's kind of an interesting program because it's very smart. Um, but also I was thinking about how like are they just like collecting facial data from everybody? Like all these photographers who are using who are using their product. But I'm glad that they're on the good side.
I think that you might be onto something. And so I didn't pull this because I'm waiting for an actual news story. This is a guy that is a reporter, and he tweeted this tonight, but I can't find it. It's one of those where I don't know if this is true or not. So I'm going to read it, but I would rather find a news story before we really go into it. But he
Okay.
said the United States Custom and Border Patrol has signed a deal with Clearview AI, giving them access to new facial recognition software using 60 billion scraped social media posts. This means the U.S. government is now turning the sharing of your social media into data points for border security. Blah, 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 blah. Every photo you've posted, been tagged in, or appeared in publicly online potentially feeds into this system. Clearview scraped images from platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and dating apps, creating massive identification database without asking permission.
It went into my dating app and pulled my information.
That's what this reporter said. I want to see a story. I until it's printed in a decent paper, I'm like, that's scary as crap right there. And we've already heard that like Palantir is trying to like put together the master database that will have all of our info. But if you
Yeah,
combine that with facial recognition and they're taking all of our pictures, which when you put a picture on a Facebook, that's not your picture anymore. Like Facebook owns that picture, right?
kind of.
Yeah. So
I mean, not really. I mean, you sign that thing, but it's not really. I don't think that's binding.
okay. Well, anyhow,
Yeah, it's kind of weird because like if I post your photo, I don't think they own that. Like they can't. Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
there's a lot of legal routes you could go about fighting that.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens.
But the fact that they're creating a database is scary as shit.
Yeah, and they're saying it's for Customs and Border Patrol right now, but like that's gonna end up getting used. There's a whole I'm gonna call it a conspiracy theory right now, but like the amount of facilities that ICE and Border Patrol are building right now, like detention camps and how many beds each one of them is gonna have, like it doesn't compute that it would be just for immigrants. Like it's almost like there's another purpose, and that scares the crap out of me. And I've been hearing it for a while, and I've been kind of poo-pooing it. But now, as I see more and more on it, I'm just like, oh shit! Like
Yeah,
it's
if they were creating a database, wouldn't they go after like the criminals overseas trying to do stuff as opposed to the United States citizens?
I don't know, but all I know is remember we talked last time about our escape plan, and mine is to have a MAGA hat nearby at all times.
Yeah,
I'm about to find me a MAGA hat and keep it in my back pocket always. Because
I know a really good cave.
okay, you should get ready to find that cave.
I'm gonna live in a cave.
Real quick, last thing on money in politics. I saw this and I thought this was right up your alley.
Billionaire contributions as percentage of total contributions.
So this is what percentage of money was spent in each election, what percentage of it was from billionaires. So before Citizens United in 2010, 0.9% of the total money spent in campaigns for president was from billionaires. As soon as Citizens United happened, that next year was 3.7. And then as you see, it just goes up and up and up to where this last cycle, 2024, 16.5% of the money spent in elections was from billionaires. Citizens United was a pivotal moment in this country that I think we're just now starting to see what's happened. The billionaire class is running things. The Epstein class, as some people would say. But
Yes.
like I think we're just now looking back and we're like some people have been saying forever that billionaires money in
Bernie
politics.
Sanders has been screaming
Yeah,
from the top
I
of
get
his
it.
fucking lungs about
But
this.
I think that I think that the Epstein case somehow is bringing it to other people's attention. But it's like, hold on, why are all these billionaires like, why aren't they facing accountability for this or whatever it is? And I don't know. I don't think Citizens United's ever going to get overturned, but I think that it's clear now that like that was the beginning of a very bad part of this country. Like
Yes.
we're in trouble. So
Okay. Yeah, Citizens United fucked over American citizens,
yeah,
100%. And that was upheld in the Supreme Court, right?
yeah, it was that was a Supreme Court case, Citizens United. And
Okay.
again, it started because this all started because of a Democrat company that made a movie about Hillary Clinton's life that was very flattering about her. And they were putting it out as she was running for president and when she was in the primaries against Obama. And the Republicans said, no, 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 that's a campaign contribution. They can't do that. And that case ended up becoming what is Citizens United. And they said, no, 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 that's a company, and a company has a right, blah, blah, blah. So really, it's the Democrats' fault that we now have Citizens United.
God damn it.
Yeah.
That is the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can we ever fight? Can we fight Citizens United? Like,
So the only way it could happen would be Congress. Congress would have to do something, and it would have to pass the House, the Senate, and the president would sign it. And a lot of them get money from these super PACs that the billionaires fund. So they would be hurting their pocketbooks if they voted to do this.
could we do it state by state? Like if I
I
start a
don't,
petition for Citizens United not to work in Colorado?
I don't know how you would do that for national elections. Like maybe you could do it to where it's state level elections.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
for a national election, I don't see how you do it.
That needs to be overturned 100%.
Yeah,
We need to get money out of politics as fast as possible.
Well, the only other way it could happen is if somehow the Democrats retake the Supreme Court, and which would be it's going to take years at this point because it's what is it, a 6-3 majority for the Republicans, and
Yeah.
then get another case up in front of the Supreme Court where they would overturn their previous ruling. But we're nowhere near that. We're talking 30 years until Democrats have the Supreme Court again.
If that. I mean,
Yeah.
Trump was smart. He hired the youngest,
Yep.
most right-wing bullshit people to go on the Supreme Court.
I was thinking Thomas and Alito have less than 10 years left. But then after that, everybody else is young enough to where they're going to be here for at least another 20.
I can't believe Thomas is still there.
Yeah.
After all the shit, like that guy who I forget the guy. He's out of Texas, and he's a blatant Nazi memorabilia collector,
Yeah. Well,
and he bought Thomas's house, mother's house,
there
gave
was
him an
also
RV,
so
all this shit.
I think you're talking about, was it Leon Black? Who was it? That wasn't Leon. Leon Black's an Epstein guy.
Some crazy right-wing guy has just been like funneling money to him for a long time. And he votes on that side every time.
Harlan Crow is who it was.
Harlan Crow.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, John Oliver has a really good segment on.
Okay, that makes sense.
On that, yeah.
Anyhow, you ready to move on to Trump? Because I got some good stuff on Trump for tonight.
Let's go, Trump.
Okay. Trump had a very big day today. I don't know if you saw, but his schedule is full. He might be cranky tomorrow morning. I don't know. He's done a lot today. This morning was the first ever meeting of the Board of Peace. Really interesting group on stage to look at. It's basically all like the dictators and authoritarians in the world and Trump. Like none of the good countries are represented there.
Did you say and Trump or?
Yeah, and Trump.
Or yeah. Trump is involved. He's a dictator.
He's not there yet. He's on his way.
God.
The second we don't have free and fair elections, which it looks like might be, coming up this year, but that's when he officially crosses that Rubicon. But one notable thing, he announced today that the U.S. was going to be donating $10 billion to the Board of Peace. Now, there's no legal way he can do that without Congress appropriating that money. But I'll bet right now that he's going to do it somehow, and Congress ain't going to say shit. He's going to find a way to move some money around, and he's going to approve $10 billion going to his Board of Peace, which is so corrupt, and everybody's going to say, "Hey, he can't do that," and Congress is going to go, "Oh well, what do you do? You can do a lot, but they're not going to do it."
Donald Trump is the inaugural and lifelong chair of the Board of Peace.
He can't be removed, period. And when he leaves, he can pick his own successor. And if he dies in office, supposedly he's going to have it in his will who's going to take his place. And everybody right now is very sure that's going to be Jared Kushner. So
it'll probably be one of his sons, is my guess.
Everybody right now is very sure it's going to be Jared Kushner.
You might be right. Jared Kushner is very big in the Middle East.
He's helping them run it. I mean, he's helping set up this whole thing. Like the other two boys, Don and Eric, have almost nothing to do with the Board of Peace. Like Jared is instrumental in what's going on with this.
So the U.S. is putting $10 billion in, and every other country is putting $1 billion in.
They were supposed to put $1 billion in for a lifetime spot on the Board of Peace. Now he said today that they've raised $5 billion so far. So I don't know if that counts. Like obviously he's not counting the $1 billion, or maybe those countries haven't given it yet. I don't know, but they have $5 billion so far. And he's saying that America's going to put in $10 billion. Jared Kushner also said that nobody's going to profit from this, and that was everybody almost in unison was laughing. And also, he had his campaign rally music going the whole time. So, like, as they were like standing on stage and doing pictures, like YMCA was playing. It was really weird. It didn't make sense. But as this was happening, I started seeing all these clips on Twitter where it was like, "Oh, Trump's falling asleep again. Trump's falling asleep again." And it was kind of where he's sitting there and you can't tell if his eyes are open or not. Yeah. But none of them were good enough to where I was ready to pull one until the last one. Oh. And then I got one where I was like, "Oh, this is worthy of pulling." Now, have you ever been in one of those situations where you've been like in a classroom or something and you're nodding off and then you hear everybody either clap or everybody's doing something and you snap to real quick and you look around like, what's going on? Enjoy this clip of Donald Trump.
دولة الكويت الثابت بدعم كل مسعى يهدف إلى رفع المعاناة عن الشعب الفلسطيني الشقيق وتحقيق الأمن والاستقرار في غزة. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you. The Minister of...
He looked so confused when he woke up there. Oh, what? And
where am I? What? Oh, yeah.
Everybody was clapping, and he looked around for like 2 seconds, and then he just kind of started clapping too. Everybody else was clapping. He had no clue what was happening.
Oh, good.
The man doesn't sleep.
He sleeps.
Yeah, he sleeps during the day. He doesn't sleep at night because he's up all night tweeting. Oh, and hold on. Before we go any further with this real quick, you remember the whole, how could you forget? But the whole Trump tweeting the Michelle and Barack Obama as apes from a week or two ago.
Who could forget that?
So they said that at first they said they're not going to apologize, and then they said a staffer did it, and then they kind of bounced back and forth between saying Trump saw it, but he gave it to a staffer to post, and it seems like, okay, hold on, wait, is Trump not always the one posting? They asked they asked Carolyn Levitt today about Trump had posted something about this island it's like in the Indian Ocean where there's a UK. The UK had owned this island. We have a military base there. The UK is about to give this island back to whatever country they stole it from. This we haven't been paying attention to this, but Trump keeps telling them he's very mad at them and they can't do this. But then the government will say, no, we're cool with you doing this. But then like 2 days later, Trump will be mad about it again, and it's Jekyll and Hyde type stuff. But he tweeted something else about it today, and a reporter asked Carolyn Levitt, "Hey, the president said this. Is this now what the government thinks? Because just the other day they said something else." Her answer was interesting to me, but check this out, and then we'll talk about it.
The post should be taken as the policy of the Trump administration. It's coming straight from the horse's mouth. When you see it on Truth Social, you know it's directly from President Trump. That's the beauty of this president and his transparency and relaying this administration's policies to all of you and to the rest of the world.
So when you see it on Truth Social, you know it's from Trump. Unless it's a video that people start to think is racist, in which case it wasn't Trump, it was a staffer.
This is so stupid. This is a week later, right?
A week later.
A week later, and they're just saying the complete opposite.
Straight from the horse's mouth. When you see it on Truth Social, you know it's from President Trump. Unless
these people are so fucking incompetent.
Yeah.
This just shows how incompetent they are, is the fact that they say one thing one week and the complete opposite thing the other week about the thing they said the last week.
Or is it how incompetent they are, or is it just going to show how incompetent they think we are? Like, it's almost insulting.
Both. It's both.
Yeah, it's almost insulting that they think that, like, there's been so many different lies this week. Trump said that he's reduced the trade deficit by 78%, when in actuality, 2025 was the highest trade deficit on record. And now it was only a little bit higher than 2024, but it was higher than, so he didn't reduce it at all. It went up a little bit. And so far, December's numbers were crazy, super high. It looks like January is going to be the same, but he's just out there tweeting, no, it's 78% reduction in the trade deficit. Complete lie. Like, they're just lying about stuff, but they know that enough people that like Trump are just going to see it and say, yep, that's the truth. And if anybody tries to tell them it's not, they're going to say, nope, you got Trump derangement syndrome. They believe that, and they think they can just lie. It's insulting. Everybody should be insulted. And we talked about it.
This whole Board of Peace is insulting. Everything he's doing is insulting. I mean, he's going to war with Iran as he's having this Board of Peace meeting. His initial Board of Peace meeting.
He's threatening war with Iran. We can't say he's going to war yet.
Dude, we have all our ships surrounding Iran. Like, what are we doing here? It's crazy. And the people he's put in, or he's invited into the Board of Peace, like, none of our allies are in it.
Well, he invited everyone. The only ones that accepted were the authoritarians.
Are the authoritarians. The non-democratic, like, you know who he did invite that declined that really got to me?
What's that?
The Vatican seems to be distancing itself from the United States and will not participate in Trump's peace board, a U.S.-led initiative that seeks the reconstruction of Gaza in the post-war period. The Holy See's top diplomat, Cardinal Parolin, announced in January that the Pope had received the invitation and that the Vatican would consider how to respond. Almost a month later, Parolin has announced the decision. The Holy See will not join the Board of Peace, and for two reasons. First, because of the particular nature of the Holy See as an essentially religious entity. Parolin has already stated that the Vatican would not be in a position to make the requested contribution, 1 billion euros, to secure a seat on the Permanent Council. According to Trump, countries are nonetheless contributing a lot of money.
We're going to have all world leaders. They're putting up tremendous amounts of money. And I think it's going to go far beyond Gaza. I think it'll be peace all over the world.
Which leads to the second point that doesn't sit well with the Vatican. At first, the Peace Board was designed solely to focus on Gaza. But it seems that Trump is trying to compete with the UN, creating a sort of alternative organization. Obviously, there are points that leave one a bit puzzled. There are some critical issues that would need explanations. One concern is that at the international level, it is primarily the UN that manages these crisis situations. This is one of the points on which we have insisted. Shortly after Parolin's statement, Trump held a press conference on Air Force One. When asked about the UN, the U.S. president stated he still believes that the multinational organization has not done a sufficient job.
Yeah, and that he clearly wants the Board of Peace to rule the world. Like, that's the only reason I think that he is going to leave after this term is up, because in his mind he's going to a better job. He's going to be the ruler of the world. Why just run America when you could be in charge of the world? And that's what he's trying to set up with the Board of Peace. I don't think he's going to succeed, and I think it's going to only be these 20 countries. But in his mind, like if he can force everybody to join the Board of Peace, and then he's the chairman of the Board of Peace, then he's the ruler of the world, and that's what he wants.
It's funny that it's called the Board of Peace, and the Pope, the Vatican, says no, we're not, we're okay, we're good, we're just not gonna mess with you.
Well, they were.
This is how like he is looked upon across like real, like let's just say the Catholic Church is a very, I don't know, the most religious organization in the world.
Okay.
With the most clout, right? And they say no to a Board of Peace, right?
Okay.
I mean, what other organization would you say is more?
I don't know. I would put all the different sects of Christianity, I would say, are equally. Yeah.
I don't think so. We talked about this. Catholicism is the original. They're the only ones that have their own country, basically.
They do have, which is kind of corrupt. Like if you go through with the Vatican, we could have a whole episode on the corruptness of the Vatican.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine that it's corrupt. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But anyway.
So that's the only reason I'm giving you the looks as you say this is because let's just talk about the Catholic, moving priests around for certain reasons that are very Epstein-ish.
Sure.
So if you, I wouldn't put the Catholic Church on such a high pedestal. Me and you were both Catholic most of our lives. I'm just saying you started to talk there about the Catholics, and I'm like, slow your roll there, buddy.
But like as a presence across the world, the Catholic Church is the preemptive religious organization across the world.
Okay. There are a lot of Catholics all around the globe. You got that?
There are, yes. And it's the oldest Christian religion, and they're also, they have a lot of dealings with international law and all this stuff, and they're saying no to what is called the Board of Peace.
Yeah.
They
spoke out a lot during the Gaza-Palestine or Israel-Gaza war. Like they were vocal about it. So
right.
Yeah. Anyhow, before we get into Trump, so after the Board of Peace meeting, Trump went to Georgia. He gave a campaign rally tonight in what looked like a small metal building. I always wish that one reporter would like go up to the stage, turn around, and give me a shot of what the crowd looks like. How big is it? Because I want to see, is this 500 people? Is this 1,000? Like, what are we doing here? But it seemed like a small crowd from the cheers. Okay. I don't want to set up the first video. I'm going to set it up a little bit. Trump realizes that he's in trouble midterm wise, so he's hitting all the key words. If you're Trump and you need to rally the base, there's certain key words. Transgender for everyone is one of the key words. Like, let's just find a way to bring that up. In this, he finds a way to bring up like 3 keywords in 20 seconds and doesn't even try to connect them. Just kind of bounces through all of them.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Well, hold on. When was the last time he did a rally?
A month or 2 ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So he still is kind of doing them.
He's doing them every couple months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Check this fun. This is just a flavor of how the whole Trump rally was.
Tariffs. Tariffs! Can you believe it? It said tariffs. And I got to be before a court. Can you believe it? This is like men playing in women's sports. Transgender for everybody. I have a new one to add. Voter ID. The Democrats don't want to give us voter ID because they want to cheat. Tariffs!
He was
what the fuck?
He was really high energy at the beginning, and then he got real low energy, like really quickly into it. But he also immediately was sweating. He was wet, he was like Peter Thiel wet the whole time, like from the second he hit the stage.
He did not look good. He looks very sickly.
He looked tired, but he hit tariffs, boys and girls sports, transgender for everyone, and voter ID, all within roughly 20 seconds of each other there, which is impressive. It's work by Trump.
This guy.
Also, we do have a supposedly, people have said this twice in the past, but supposedly this week the Supreme Court might rule on tariffs.
Finally?
That would be tomorrow. So by the time we post this, there could be a ruling. Now, I don't think they're gonna. I think they're still waiting, and they're hoping that Congress is going to bail them out, and Congress is going to undo all the tariffs themselves. They don't want to have to rule on this. But anyhow, supposedly. But Trump did have a little bit more to say on tariffs. Turns out he might have saved us all with tariffs.
Oh.
Check out what he had to say here.
Without tariffs, what would you do? You know what? Everybody would be bankrupt. Everybody. The whole country would be bankrupt. And I have to wait for this decision. I've been waiting forever. Forever. And the language is clear that I have the right to do it as president. I have the right to put tariffs on for national security purposes, countries that have been ripping us off for years. You know what they were doing? Using tariffs.
He sounds so angry.
He was loud. So right there, complete lie. I have the right to do it by the law. No. Okay. For national security purposes, like here's a good example. The steel tariffs. Steel tariffs are not a bad idea. We need to have a steel industry in America. If we ever get into a war, it's very important. So national security steel tariffs make sense. The auto industry is another one where during times of war, we convert our auto manufacturing plants into plants that are now rolling tanks off the assembly line. Like we've done this in the past. Like those make sense. Tariffs on all the other stuff that we have tariffs on are not national security issues, and he does not have the authority to do it. It seems very cut and dry, according to everyone, yet the Supreme Court is still considering it, which is very weird to me.
I mean, he puts tariffs on when he gets his feelings hurt.
He admitted that recently. He admitted that about Switzerland. He said he had a call with like the leader of Switzerland, and he didn't like his tone, and he was going to do 35% tariffs, but based off her tone, he decided to do 40% or something along those lines. And it's like right there, clip that and send that to the Supreme Court. Like that clearly should show that he's just doing this based off his emotions. Somebody hurt his feelings, so he's increasing the tariffs, or somebody was rude to him. It's ridiculous. So
he's making it harder and harder for us to like integrate into a different country.
Yeah. Just we gotta learn an accent and claim we're from somewhere else. That's the only way to do it.
Another language.
Something.
And an accent, bro.
Yeah. I can do Canadian kind of. You just gotta say A and hoser, and I can do that.
Yeah, you're just a French Canadian.
Yeah. The last video I have from the Georgia rally needs no setup. I just want you to enjoy this as a funny moment.
Oh God.
Worldwide, and I rebuilt the military my first time. I said, why would it take 4 years? They said, well, I would. So I decided to go to Iraq, and I flew to Iraq. I was extremely brave. In fact, so brave I wanted to give myself the Congressional Medal of Honor. I said to my people, am I allowed to give myself the Congressional Medal of Honor? And, you know, I've given out so many to guys that are seriously brave. I mean, they come in with the arms are missing, the legs are missing. The stories are so unbelievable. And I said, no, it's a little stretch if I gave myself one of them. But it's one of those things. Someday I'm going to try. I'm going to test the law. Brandon, I'm going to say, let's give it a shot. Maybe I'll win in court after everyone sues me. After radical left lunatics sue me.
I was so brave. He said I was so brave twice there, and I don't think he was kidding. Like, it's hard to tell when he's kidding.
Dude, he's unhinged, man.
Dude, okay, so hear me out real quick. He said a week or two ago in a couple different tweets, he said that Canada getting into an alliance with China, the first thing China's going to do is they're going to end hockey and they're going to end the Stanley Cup. And he said this a couple different times. And then Bill Maher went on his show and said, Trump saying that Canada's going to end hockey. Like, how dumb is Trump? Well, you know, he kind of did one of those. And then Trump tweets out right after that, like, he did a whole tweet slamming Bill Maher. But he was like, Bill Maher thought I was serious about the hockey thing. Like, when clearly everyone knows I was joking. And it's like, no, we didn't know you were joking. That's not any crazier than the crazy shit you say all the time. Like, and it was through a tweet. So we can't hear you laughing as you say it. So when you say that if Canada forms an alliance with China, China's going to end air hockey, we think it's you being your usual batshit craziness. Like, how was Bill Maher to know that you weren't being serious there? Which I think he was being serious till he got made fun of for it. And then he tried to say he was joking. in this case, I'm going to give Trump a little bit of respect here. After he said all that about how brave he was and he was going to give himself the Medal of Honor, a little bit later, he was like, and look at all the cameras back there. They're all going to say I was serious. They're going to say, oh, Trump said he's going to give himself the Medal of Honor. And so he said later that he was kidding about that, but I don't think he was. I think he started talking, and then I'll bet people below him were like, dude, shut up. Like, cut it out. Stop talking about giving yourself the Medal of Honor. And then he spun to like, I'm kidding. That's what I think.
Have you ever heard Trump laugh?
No, that's the thing is he doesn't laugh. People
I've
have pointed
never
that out.
heard him laugh.
People have pointed that out that like you can't crack him up. Like you'll never see him like having a good time and laughing. He has like a fake laugh that he does. But
Yeah.
you'll never see him like nobody's ever like hit his funny bone the right way where he's like knee slap laughing. Like that's not on camera anywhere.
Right. And he's been on camera a lot
Yeah.
over decades.
Yes.
And he's never laughed.
Not a real laugh. He's got a fake laugh. We've all seen the fake laugh.
That's sociopathic. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck. Dude, how do we get out of this?
We don't. We ride it out. We got a little less than 3 years.
Oh no, 3 years.
It's only 2 years and 11 months. You got this, buddy. So,
Oh God.
I forgot to pull this up earlier, but talking about Trump lying to us about everything, I just thought this was funny. Leave it to Elon's Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, to do a little fact check on the GOP. This is the GOP, the Republican Party or their Twitter account, and they said wages are climbing, costs are falling, our economy is thriving. This is the Trump effect. And then Twitter corrected them. False. Studies show wages are down, costs are up, and it gives links to all these. Wages are down, costs are up, and the overall state of the economy is not as resilient as stated by the Trump administration. So hey, it might be a little harder for them to lie now because Twitter. I'm sure Elon went on and fixed that right afterward, but like that's kind of hysterical. They blatantly lied about 3 things, and then Twitter called them out on it, which is
That's awesome.
yeah. So
Okay.
I've got one last thing. Do you have anything else you want to get to before we call it?
What are you gonna go to?
Oh, I've got something having to do with the labor secretary that's quite funny.
Well, do you want to talk about Iran?
So I think we're going to talk for a minute on Iran. This labor secretary thing's quick. Let's do this,
Okay.
and then we'll end on Iran. This is I saw this story today. This is just in any other administration, this would not be flying under the radar, but because of everything else going on, this is somehow not really a big deal. The husband of Labor Secretary Lori Chavez de Remer has been barred from the department's headquarters after at least 2 female staff members told officials that he had sexually assaulted them, according to people familiar with the decision and a police report obtained by the New York Times. The Inspector General's office is investigating a formal complaint about Miss Chavez de Remer that she was having an inappropriate sexual relationship with a subordinate, a member of her security detail. Abusing her office by taking the staff to strip clubs, drinking alcohol on the job, and taking personal trips at the taxpayer expense. Her lawyers deny the allegations. So our secretary of labor is under investigation for sleeping with a member of her security detail, while at the same time her husband has been barred from entering the building for sexually assaulting 2 of her staff. And there's a police report involved.
I mean, it just seems like they're a shoo-in for the Trump administration.
That's not even really getting covered. This is like 3 days old, and you won't see it almost anywhere because
I haven't heard of it.
everything else is going on.
There's so much shit going on in this fucking administration.
That's why we couldn't spend all night on Epstein again. There's a lot going on that we need to talk about. That's hysterical.
Steve Bannon won. Flood the zone.
Yeah, flood the zone. Can't keep up with it all.
His strategy just won the day.
Yep. So anyhow, what do you got on Iran?
All right. So we've got all these ships going to Iran. Iran is probably going to get hit in the next 2 days.
Let me just say this real quick. There is a 20% chance. People are saying that, well, Trump always likes to negotiate from a place of strength. And that's in his book or whatever. So moving all these military assets there, basically you're negotiating while holding a loaded gun at them. But if he is using this to get an awesome deal, and if Iran looks around and says, oh God, we're surrounded, and they are definitely gonna, knock out our leadership unless we take this terrible deal, and then they end up signing a terrible deal. Then he's gonna look like a genius, and he'll never attack Iran.
But what deal does he want?
So this is where it gets weird. We initially just wanted them to agree to no nuclear enrichment over 3%. Okay. Trump,
but they don't have that. Even his own administration, his own intelligence office said they don't have nuclear capabilities.
So you have to enrich it to 90% to be nuclear grade, like weapons grade uranium. Okay. They were apparently enriching it up to 60%, which isn't enough for weapons grade, but also why do they need 60%? Like 3% is what you need for civilian nuclear energy, and that's what they claim their program's for. So that is the thing. Like, hey, why are you even trying to get to 60% when you don't need that?
It's another foot on the back of another country's technological and scientific community.
Yes, but if you remember back in June, Operation Midnight Hammer, Trump said that we knocked out their nuclear facilities and that it would be years till they could rebuild. Well, apparently now we're backing off that claim because now we're saying that this is all about nuclear. So that was our original thing. Bibi Netanyahu ran over to America last week and got involved and said, hey, you also have to get them to end their ballistic missile program. They don't want to do that's the only way they can fight back against Israel is if Israel attacks them, they're going to shoot missiles back at Israel. That's not on the table. That they're not going to agree to that. And Netanyahu's trying to get us to add that as a demand. Okay. Now they had their meeting a couple days ago, Tuesday maybe, and Iran came out afterward and said, hey, it was actually a pretty good meeting. We've agreed to talk again. We're only talking about nuclear, is what they said. And then Trump went on. It was with Larry Kudlow on Fox. And he was like, oh, yeah, well, they have to agree to nuclear and ballistic missiles. And there's something else he added. And that's not what supposedly Iran said we actually talked to them about. So it's very confusing. What are we actually telling them at the table versus what Trump is saying we're telling them? And it seems to be two different things. Okay. But they would agree to a nuclear deal. Like they really would. If all we wanted was for them to promise not to enrich uranium.
We had a nuclear deal.
We did, and Trump pulled us out of it. But they would happily get right back into that same nuclear deal. Netanyahu's not going to let that happen. Netanyahu's going to do everything he can to make this include ballistic missiles, and that's what they call a poison pill. Like that's just ensuring that no deal is going to get done because they're not. If they agreed to give up their ballistic missiles, now they are just sitting there praying that Israel doesn't hit them, and Israel will hit them quickly. Like Israel wants to destroy Iran. They both want to destroy each other. Israel wants to destroy Iran, and Iran wants to destroy Israel, and it's been that way for a long time.
I mean, at this point, I'm on Iran's side.
Yeah. I'm not on Iran's side I'm on the side of peace. Okay.
Yeah.
Quick funny story. Israel, you know, you've heard of Iran-Contra, right? The Iran-Contra issue. So it really should be called the Iran-Israel-Contra issue because we were funneling everything through Israel. We were giving the money to Israel, and then Israel was giving the weapons to Iran. So Israel was arming Iran through most of the 1980s. And then we were paying Iran back and replenishing their weapons, paying Israel back.
And that was to fight off the Soviet Union.
No, that was to fight off Iraq. Because at the time, we didn't like Iraq more than we didn't like Iran. So we figured because Iraq and Iran were fighting. They had a war with each other in the 80s. So the U.S. and Israel was funneling weapons into Iran throughout most of the 80s. And now we're like, you have to disarm. And it's like, we were given, anyhow. That's a little history.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I have a theory to add on to that.
Okay.
And I would imagine that this has something to play into it. Check out this video.
Iran has announced a discovery of a major gold deposit at the Shahdan gold mine in South Khorasan province, which is one of the country's most important mining sites. Now, according to the media reports that have surfaced, the newly identified vein is estimated to hold 7.95 million tons of oxide gold ore and 53.1 million tons of sulfide gold ore, significantly boosting the mine's proven reserves.
Okay, so gold, that makes sense. That's a rather large amount of gold here. Hold on.
I looked it up, and it's between $5 billion and $50 billion, which is a big jump.
Yeah. So on Google AI is saying it's an estimated 61 million tons of gold-bearing ore. So that's not all gold.
Right.
Roughly 7.95 million tons of oxide ore and 53.1 million tons of sulfide ore. I don't know what any of that means. But okay, so they got gold mines in Iran. So they have oil and gold mines. Every war that we ever do has to do with resources. So oil and gold?
Yeah.
Like Trump could use that gold in the Oval Office. There's not enough gold so far. Imagine if
the ballroom. He needs
Yeah.
more gold for the ballroom.
Gonna need more gold for that, so that makes sense. Here's the thing: I still truly think that Trump doesn't want to like occupy Iran. I've heard enough people talk about it. Like he likes quick military strikes that are over real quick. Like we show our force, he looks like a tough guy. It ends. It's not a drawn out conflict. Like to get their gold or their oil, like we would have to either invade the country or, as we learned in Venezuela, kidnap their president. Maybe that's the plan: is we're going to kidnap the Ayatollah, and then basically hold him ransom for their gold and oil.
Have you heard the plan about what they're going to do with the Venezuelan president?
They're prosecuting him, or they're going to give him a plea deal if he admits that he stole the election. It's one or the other,
which is crazy. And he's going to take that plea deal. 100%. He's going to take that plea deal.
That's going to be the funniest moment is if they announce a plea deal and he's going to write a sworn statement saying that he stole the election for Joe Biden in 2020, and then everybody's going to say, "Is there any evidence for this?" And the government's going to go, "Shut up! Stop asking questions! Just shut up! He admitted he did it. Shut up!" And then they're going to let him go back to Venezuela and continue to treat his people like shit. Like I still don't think that's going to happen. But before I said that there was like a 2% chance of that, and now I'm saying there's like a 20% chance of that. Still
I'm
not
going with 50-50 right now.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I think there'd have to be some evidence of it for the plea deal to work, but probably not. They could probably put it through. I think the judge would have to sign off on any plea deal, and if they bring that to the judge, he's going to say, "Time out. What evidence do you have to back up what you're saying here?" I think.
Yeah,
Depends on what
maybe.
judge they get.
Yeah, depends on what judge they get. That's for sure.
Yeah. So crazy though. Yeah. Okay. That's all I had for tonight. You got anything else?
I've got one more thing.
Okay. What do you got?
Going back to the Olympics.
Okay.
I feel like we need to end on the Olympics every chance we get.
I think this is our last show that'll be during the Olympics. So
yeah, I think you're right. So I was questioning nationalism in the Olympics.
Okay.
And then I found out about this figure skating coach.
Okay.
There's a figure skating coach. His name is Benoit Richard.
Okay.
And he is the figure skating coach for 13 different countries.
Is it like Benoit?
Benoit, yes.
I think that's Benoit.
Benoit Richard.
Okay. I might be wrong on that.
I'm guessing that's French. I don't know.
I think so.
I didn't look too much into it, but it was interesting. I watched him in between, like he'll coach one team and then he'll change his jacket to the color of whatever country.
So he's coaching multiple different countries' athletes?
13 countries.
That's impressive. Okay.
He's probably, I'm guessing he's the best like figure skating coach out there.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an interesting thing to know because I don't know. It's very weird because don't you think like nationalism is kind of paired with the Olympics?
But as far as the coaching goes, like I'm not shocked by that. What was the there was the coach back when we were young, his name was like Belarusso or something like that. Figure skating, hold on. But he wasn't American, and I always thought that was weird.
He wasn't American, but he was American figure skate coach?
Yeah, his name was Belarus.
Ah.
Coach Bella. I might be wrong on this.
Was he the one that was like
if I remember correctly, he was like a Russian.
Kids?
He was straight up Russian, but he was coaching the American team, which was weird. And that was like back in the 90s. But I always thought that was odd. Where like there's our great coach, and it was either figure skating or Olympics. Or gymnastics.
Huh.
Anyhow,
interesting. Yeah, they'll. Oh, dude, here I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see.
Yeah, that was his name. It's Belarus.
Belarus. We made it. We're at number 2.
We're at number 2 now. How far are we behind number 1?
We are a lot of medals behind number 1. Norway has 16 gold. We have 9.
Okay.
We have 12 silver. They have 8. We have 6 bronze. They have 10.
What about
34? Total, we have 27. They have 34.
Okay. So there's still time to catch up in the total medal count.
Yep. We're
That's
only
normally
1 above Italy right now.
That's normally how they do it. Is they look at the total medal count, not the gold. So that's how you declare who won the Olympics. So we could supposedly catch up.
We could catch up. We need 7 more medals to catch up to them.
Okay. I wonder if that's probably updated because that girl Alyssa Zhao or Jay or something like that, whatever her name is, the girl from Oakland that won the figure skating tonight. She was impressive. It's crazy how like I don't give a crap about figure skating all year long, and then for like 2 weeks during the Olympics, suddenly I get to know figure skating and all these different sports that this year there's so many sports that I can't believe are in the Olympics. Like I've been watching different ones where they ski down a hill and then up a high jump and they fly 200 feet into the air and they do all these acrobatics and then they land it. And I'm just like, when did this become an Olympic sport? But it's
that's
fun
been
to
around
watch.
for a while, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm loving it. So
yeah, remember what was it, break dancing last year in the Summer Olympics?
That was hysterical. But dude, we have the Olympics coming here in I think like 2 years. What is it? 2028? When are the Olympics in the United States?
2028. Yep, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, so 2028. So, and those are going to be all over because they're saying that LA is hosting it, but like here in Oklahoma, there's going to be a couple different sports in like whitewater. Yeah, like kayaking and stuff is going to be in Oklahoma and Arkansas. There's stuff all around the U.S. So it'll be kind of neat in 2 years to possibly go check out one of the Olympic events.
Which will be kind of interesting because Italy is in 2 different like states.
They're in 3 different parts of Italy.
Cities. Yeah. But United States is a lot bigger, so it's like, oh, these people are they gonna have to travel from LA to there, or are they gonna have to? Is there gonna be multiple setups? How is this gonna work?
Well, this year for the opening ceremonies, they basically had 3 different opening ceremonies in those 3 areas, and like all the athletes just stayed in those areas, so they didn't have to try to travel. So in America, it seems like it's gonna be spread out in several different spots. So I don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited. Hopefully, I can get to go.
It's going to be crazy to see what America looks like in 2028 after that'll be 2 more years of Trump.
Oh my God.
Maybe we'll truly be in our golden age. Maybe everything will be great by then.
Let's hope. Yep. Gold.
Cross our fingers. So, all right, man. I will talk to you soon. Have a great weekend.
Peace out, brother.
Later.
Sometimes you eat the bar. Sometimes the bar eats you.